I'm so sorry. It's my fault. We missed last week. I think we missed the week before, and I don't really have much of an excuse. The reality is that I've been working on a different project, and I let the podcast kind of fall to the side, which I shouldn't have done because it's not fair to you, the watcher. It's not fair to Peter. It's not fair to Will. And I fucked up. I take full ownership of it, but we're here. We're back. We're stronger than ever. Let's fucking go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kim, joined by my glorious co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
What's up? What's up? My heart goes out to all of you, my friends. Welcome back to the Matt Kim Podcast. Smash the like button, SARS. Check in, SARS. We got links, we got Discords, we got Telegrams. Make sure that you're there.
Apparently, if Elon puts his heart out into the world, that's racist.
Oh, absolutely.
But when Cory Booker goes out, he's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Well, can someone explain to me the difference? Because I'm going to be honest, it looked the same.
Actually, I think he did a better job.
When Elon did it, we were a little bit hard on him, right? Because it was funny at the same time. It looked like he really did it. So we gave him, and we've been kind of recurring joke on this podcast for a couple months now.
Well, yeah, because it was the autist's version. He was just like, right? So,
but then Cory Booker did it, and he has to know the outrage that it created. Was he mocking us?
Yeah.
Was he mocking, or was he doing it because he knew that if he does it, he would go viral, and he wanted the clicks and views, and he was planning it?
That's it. Do you remember Cory Booker with his "This is Sparta" moment years ago?
Uh-huh.
He's all about the click. He's all about the views. He knew that Pelosi had done this because we have pictures of Pelosi doing this. He knew that we have Hillary Clinton doing this. He knew that we have Barack Obama doing this. He knew that Elon Musk did this too. So he's doing it for the likes, for the views. He's doing it all for that. We know this.
So now that both sides have officially done it, owned it, kind of deflected, but they've clearly both did it. People gotta stop giving us shit for doing it too, right?
Exactly.
Is that fair?
Well, not only that, Matt, but we now have HH from Kanye.
Yeah.
So
which we played.
Yes.
And we got demonetized for playing like 2 seconds of it.
I know.
Because even our editor, Zach, like clipped around it and added sounds on top of it just to make sure we don't get demonetized.
It was the bots.
We got demonetized anyway.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But what Ye has done, he's mainlined HH into all of the collective consciousness of the world. So I think the HH is kind of mainstream now.
So Cory Booker was trying to go viral.
Oh, yeah.
He achieved his goal.
Yes.
Yeah, good for you then.
Good for you, Cory. You're
Good
still
job,
a slave to the system, though. I don't see how these politicians are still surviving. Like they're not useful. They're not actually helpful. And right now, it's all this game show. I mean, for him to do this is totally game show, don't you think?
I mean, I was shocked, to be honest. I didn't see that coming.
Were you really though? Were you really shocked though, Matt?
If it was someone that maybe, like if AOC did it, because she understands the internet a little bit better.
Yeah.
And she did, I'd be like, okay, smart. 4D chess. Good for her, right?
She is a bartender.
Yeah. She knows that that's going to get the clicks and views.
Yeah.
I didn't see that from Cory Booker.
You know what? Why don't we give her...
He's got a really good, smart kid on the team going, Mr. Booker, I think you should hire Hitler. And he was like... Good idea! Yeah. Let's do it!
For the memes! But here's the thing, though. No one's going to actually meme him because he's on the wrong side of history. Right? Remember, the left can't meme. Remember. So, Cory Booker's going to go...
He just did. Because we're talking about it.
He did. We are talking about it. But he just did it for the likes and views. He's not doing it for anything else other than self-aggrandizement for himself.
Well, we're going to try to keep it together. I'm trying to come back, but not get canceled.
Are you joshing me?
I don't know what a josh is.
Peter, that's a very white thing to say from the 1990s. What are you talking? What are you talking about?
My leg.
What are you talking about?
Are you tooting my horn?
Our entire existence of the Matt Kim podcast is to dance on the hairy line of Joe Biden's legs in the swimming pool when the kids are touching his legs, right? Like our job is to dance on that line and ensure that we're right on the edge and maybe get demonetized, maybe not, who knows? But that's our job. That's what people see you for. You're the one asking the tough questions, brother.
We missed a couple of things in news in the last few weeks. But speaking of Joe Biden, he's sick?
Apparently, he's had cancer.
For this entire time?
Well...
And all these people are like, oh, no, he's not coaching. There's something wrong with him. They're like, no, he's fine. That's it?
Well...
End of story?
Well, cancer just doesn't happen, Matt. Cancer just emergently pops up randomly and very quickly. And so with Joe Biden, his doctors who've been with him for all of these months and years, they couldn't have known. I mean, cancer is a mysterious, unknown, disease that nobody really knows anything about until last minute. And so I give Joe Biden a pass because, he maybe it's a turbo cancer. Maybe he really did get the jab.
Okay, but if he knew, and this is a true thing, and he's had it for all this time, then you would assume that Kamala also knew.
They all knew, Matt.
Then why did they
That's why I was being facetious.
Why did they remove him and let her be president? Because she would have had a chance to win, actually. Why did they like keep that hidden, and why would she keep that hidden? Why wouldn't she use that to her advantage if she wanted to win an election? I don't understand.
Because she has the JQ in her pocket that they can't let it out, man. They had to keep rolling. Remember, we saw these articles about the Autopen and all of the things that Biden apparently signed, where we all realized it was actually just an 18-year-old staffer who's signing all this shit.
This is wild, by the way.
We live in a world where an 18-year-old staffer with Autopen and auto fill-in is the one signing all this stuff, Matt. That is our reality.
And when they say Autopen, okay, excuse my ignorance. I've heard the term Autopen like a lot.
It's called copy pasta. Copy paste.
Does that mean someone is like overlaying his signature there, or is someone like signing it, pretending to be him?
No, it's
or
just
is it like a DocuSign type of deal?
It's a DocuSign. It's a here's my signature already installed in Adobe Acrobat, and I click this button and it goes
insert signature, and you just
exactly
widen or
that's
lower
the auto
depending
pen.
on.
You got it. It was 18. I'm making this up, but it was essentially some staffer, some person that works for Biden who was doing it because that Biden was not only asleep at the wheel, but he spent over 50% of his time at the beach.
And I've heard this idea that if he, as a president, did not actually sign those documents, then those laws are no longer valid.
That's what we hear.
Is that a real thing?
That's what we hear, but can we really walk those things back now? Because he's already let in millions of illegals. He's already done all this stuff. He's already blown up his own pipeline. The Nord Stream pipeline. Like, he's already done all this stuff. Like, you can't retrace history just because history's done. And so I don't think it really matters at this point. It's kind of like the Dan Bongino and the Kash Patel. Like,
I like those guys. I like those guys.
There was a camera, but there wasn't a camera. We saw the tapes, but there was no tapes.
Guys.
He actually killed himself, but he didn't really kill him.
I liked those guys.
I know. Their body language on that interview was just like, bro, you lying.
I liked Kash.
Why?
I don't know. At least he was saying the things we wanted to hear, and he was going hard on everybody.
What are you talking about? You have hundreds of thousands of SARs who hate you. How could you say that you like Kash Patel?
I liked Kash Patel.
Sorry,
Sar. I liked Kash Patel.
Why?
I liked Dan Bongino.
Because he said he was going to root out the bad actors of the FBI?
But how can you go on national TV and be like, actually, Epstein didn't kill himself. It was natural. Like, what? What world am I living in?
We're living in the reality where a sleep at the wheel, cancerous president who actually didn't sign anything is the one ruling over us, and all of these big promises made by the Trump administration have come to naught. That's the reality we live in.
They could have at least said nothing. They could have said nothing.
It would have been better.
It would have been better.
At least lie to us harder, Sar. I would actually prefer that they would say nothing. Just say nothing. Leave us in suspense.
We're still looking through the documents. There are so many documents, and we have to sanitize and make sure that they're okay for public consumption. So we're working on it, but we're looking into it. Give us more time and kick the can down the curb for another 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 years. At least it's like, thank you. You've made the effort to lie to us.
Exactly. But I saw this.
Don't just look right at us and be like, just kidding, you guys are wrong. What the fuck? What the hell happened? Who are you guys?
I saw this meme. It's the meme of the sweaty guy who has to push two buttons, right? And the two buttons was, there is no camera versus we saw the footage, and Kash was just like, I don't know which one to push. Right? You're fucked either way, right? That's the whole point.
Like, Kash has been a friend of the show. I thought I liked him, and I don't know what happened. I don't know who's telling him to say that. I can't.
Dan Bongino's 360 on this was a big deal too.
Yeah,
because they're internet sleuths who've put together these clips of Dan going hard, like, we need to find out Epstein. We need to figure it out. There's no way he killed him, deleted himself. There's no, and then suddenly cuts to the Fox interview or whatever, and there's like, nope, it was natural.
I mean, we've been critical of Dan in the past, but the reason we were critical of Dan Bongino is we thought he was fear pointing too much.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was his MO. His MO is to get everybody riled up.
He was pushing too hard and riling up just for the sake of riling people up. That was our criticism of Dan Bongino.
Yeah.
But this is the complete opposite of that.
360 or 180.
180.
Yeah,
just
180.
turn right back around.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's
What
180.
are we watching here? I don't understand.
It's a clown show, bro. I mean, even Trump, some people are picking up on this, said that, like, Biden was cloned or something like that. Like, what?
I saw Truth Social that out too.
Yeah, he's been cloned, but we also have clips of Trump saying, it's part of the Actors Guild or whatever it's called, or a screencast or whatever they call it, where they hire actors at these false flags. It's like, oh my gosh,
Crisis actors.
Crisis actors. Yeah. So is Biden truly cloned? Is he? We already know.
Is he a clone or is it an actor?
The door number 2 is the truth. Is we already know that there's actors playing Biden, because there's like even Joe Rogan was like looking at this one video where Biden was 10 times taller than he should be. Right? It's clear that there's actors playing these roles, but the whole clone thing, that was an intriguing idea from Trump.
Yeah, how do you just throw that out there? And
central casting. Right?
And the internet's like, no, he's just trolling. He's the president. That's like a big claim.
It is.
It's a bigger claim than saying that Obama wasn't born in the United States, which he went hard on.
Dude, there was another clip of Obama over in Kenya just recently. I know you've been unplugged, but Obama in Kenya doing a talk where he admitted in the talk, I was the first natural born Kenyan to be a sitting president.
What?
Look it up. He says it out loud. No AI here, guys. He says it out loud. I was the first sitting president as a national Kenyan. And you could see...
You kind of sound like Obama, by the way.
Well,
your Obama's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. But seriously, though, like, isn't that part of the plan? Is that they have to tell you what they've done or what they're going to do so that they can actually exact those evil plans? They have to say it out loud.
Okay.
So we know that Obama was not a true citizen, like truth. People are going to be like, no, he was not an American citizen. He was born in Kenya, and the birth certificate was clearly faked. Like, if you still think that lie, then people will always pick and choose lies, right? They'll say, well, the government lies to us, but on this Obama thing, never, right? The government always lie to us, but on the Epstein thing, no. It's like, brother, come on, wake up.
So, is the drama between Trump and Elon, is that real? Is that a real rift between the two? And we'll get to the black eye, because I want to talk about that, but we'll get back to that. First, I want to get your take. Is the drama between Trump and Elon real drama?
At this particular point in time, with all of the evidence of everything that's happened to Trump, I feel like we're just all part of this big play. What did Shakespeare say? Shakespeare said, the world is a stage, right? And we're all just part of the game, right? Something like this. And so, unfortunately, I feel like it's just part of the Days of Our Lives sitcom, for those of you guys who remember that back in the day. That's all it is. It's one gigantic manufactured play, and it's called politics. The only difference is it's not on it's not on it's not on a sitcom channel. It's the news. That's the difference. What people don't realize is when you turn on Friends or Days of Our Lives or one of these sitcoms, and then you move to CNBC, it's no different. You feel like you moved to a news channel. No, sir. You have not moved to a news channel. You have moved to a different sitcom where it's live acting. That's all it is.
Because we said very early on, and people are extremely upset at us. Actually, I think we lost a ton of subscribers that day when we said that this Elon Trump thing cannot last. That they are two big egos, that they will clash, that they will get frustrated with one another, and they will see a difference, and it will not end well.
So do you think this is all a manufactured play, or do you think there is actual drama?
I think the drama was inevitable. I think that Elon, first, he made a lot of really grand promises. He said he's going to cut $1 trillion off the deficit, $2 trillion off the deficit. And now we're looking at like $8 billion. It's like, what the hell did you do all this entire time?
He was becoming ranked #1 on Diablo. He just
Even that's fake.
he posted that like yesterday that he got
really?
rank 1 again. Yeah.
Oh, his bot
Seriously.
army. So he made all these grand promises, and then there's in the news that he's going around and he's got like these women problems, he's got drug problems, he's like high on ketamine, and he's like doing ecstasy like everywhere he goes.
Yep.
And then it's like, no, that can't be true. He's like Elon Musk. He's a billionaire. He's like a technocrat. He wouldn't do that. And then you roll back to all the video clips we've seen of him like geeking out, even at the inauguration. Just like,
You got it just like that.
You know,
like,
and we're like-
oh, I'm seeing colors.
and it's really hard to argue that he wasn't high.
Well,
And if you're Trump, who Trump is known for everything he's known for, he's always been very anti-drug,
yeah, very much
right?
so.
That's like his one thing. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I'm against both. He's always been very clear on that. It's something that actually I like about him,
Yes. But he doesn't drink water. He only drinks Diet Coke.
which he should drink the water. But he doesn't drink alcohol. He doesn't do drugs. And he's always been very much against that.
Yes.
And to find out that Elon Musk, who's had access to the entire White House, has been high the entire time, there's no way that that makes him happy.
Well, if we,
Especially because he's so anti-drug.
if we look at, you're not wrong. Because he's so anti-drug, it seems like there's some dissonance and conflict there. But we know from every government out there that the government officials are all just completely soaked in drugs. Let's be honest, man.
Yes.
Like there's videos from every national leader in their cabinet at some point in time where someone's going the whole time, mostly like, Ukraine and Zelensky's always going like, come on. There's so much drugs. It's the rampant use of drugs in our administration is a fact. Period. Full stop.
But, when Hunter got in trouble, and
He didn't get in trouble.
Well,
he
didn't
still
get in
has
trouble.
pictures out there that nobody cares about.
When we alleged Hunter's coke was found in the White House, and they found the baggies and all this other stuff, everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're doing drugs. And then it's like, oh yeah, you know Trump's boy Elon? The one that's hanging around all the damn time. The one that's like sitting in all the meetings. The one that's meeting world leaders on Trump's behalf.
With his kid on his shoulder.
With his kid on his shoulder, making everyone bow to his kid. Oh yeah, by the way, that guy's always high.
Yeah, probably.
And it's like, oh fuck. That's not a good look.
We have an entire administration that is asleep at the wheel, auto-penning everything. We got rampant drug use. Like, is this any different from normal experiences in government?
I mean, even seeing that press conference with Elon standing next to Trump, and he's sitting there, and they ask him, "Oh, what's wrong with your black eye?
Oh,
What's up with your black eye, Elon?"
how far do you want to go down this rabbit hole?
And then he says, "Oh yeah, it's because I was in France, making a knock on
Macron and
getting
his husband.
punched in the face by his husband, and which was crazy, by the way.
I mean, did you see it was two hands?
It was wild.
Like when my
He played that off as good as he could, by the way.
yeah.
He was like, oh. Yep.
And she was so pissed that she wouldn't hold his hand or
He
his
was-
arm go walking down the stairs.
him.
Sorry. My bad, Candace Owens. We got you.
Seriously.
We got you.
Seriously, show some respect.
I know.
to the
Sorry,
game.
Candace. All of your diligence. It is Pride Month after all. So, I mean, even my wife, because my wife lives in a different matrix.
Yeah.
We all know this, right? Everyone's wives live in a different matrix.
Yeah.
But even she got wind of it, and she was like, nobody hits their husband with two hands unless you're really upset.
Really pissed off.
Really upset.
Yeah.
Like, what Koreans will just take the shoe, which is what my wife does, her slipper, and she'll just run around with this thing and like fake like she's gonna hit me. But if you're gonna smash someone in the face with two hands, you pissed.
Yeah.
You pissed. He must have pissed her off somehow.
right in front of the doorway.
Yeah.
Meaning they knew that it was about to open. So there was some sort of disagreement or some sort of argument going on, and she just couldn't hold it. Because he
Candace.
is a pro. He knows of the situation, and they have a certain level of ingrained situational awareness.
Yes.
They had to break their own programming in order to do that.
They did. So
That's a
that
big
means
deal.
it was natural.
Yeah,
She
that was real.
He was really upset.
Pissed.
They were both upset. So let me ask you this. What do you think will actually come of all these Candace Owens revelations and all the documentation? And
Nothing.
You don't think so?
Of course not. Of course not.
You don't think so?
I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is deny till they die. It's what, Kash and Dan Bongino should have done. Just deny till they die.
They should have.
We're looking into it and just kick that can down the curb forever.
Like the
That's the right political move.
like the JFK files finally or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's like 5 pages of the JFK files.
That we already saw in
Yeah,
1975.
just look at them again. No big deal. And then, no, there's more coming. We swear. And that's what politicians do. You don't just 180 and be like, oh.
But we've had podcasts about this, Matt. Wasn't the Trump presidency supposed to be different?
It was supposed to be different, which is why everyone's disappointed.
Do you think people are disappointed, or do you think people are just finally getting to that black pill moment where they're just like, "Fuck it, like this is it. It is what it is." Like you and I have lived 4 decades on this planet. Like we were there with Clinton and Bush 1. We were there with Bush 2. We like Obama. Like, has anything changed, Matt? I mean, we hoped and prayed to the baby Jesus that Trump would make this thing different. But man, I'll tell you, it seems like the same shit, different day.
Like I struggle with this a lot. Like what's the intent? Because I think maybe the intent matters. Are they intentionally messing with us? Or are they is our government so big and so bloated that it's that inefficient that it's just natural that there are all these failure points?
I think it's the latter. I think it's they're bloated. There's too many failure points. I'd use a different term there as well. There's too many constraints in the system. There's too many bottlenecks in the system.
Because
like if you were president, I know for a fact what your answer is going to be. If you were president, you would think, like when you got inaugurated, day 1, day 2, you would think in all your naivete, Matt, if you were president, you'd be like, how hard is it to ask a brother to unseal these documents? Like, I'm the president now. Can't I just make a call and just say, hey, document guy that's down in the dungeon of whatever, I know you got them documents, and I know they've already been digitized, by the way, so I'm the president, get it done. Like, that would be your naivete, wouldn't it not?
Send me a PDF.
Send me a PDF with an Autopen, right? And you'd think that in all of your naivete as a sitting president, you'd be able to do that, but apparently you can't. So there's a problem.
This is a big problem, because if it is that Trump is intentionally being a bad president, then you can fix a problem by eventually having a good president. If Trump is trying to be a good president, but the system is so bloated and so inefficient and so bad that even the best president, this is the best that we get, then there is a huge systematic problem that we need to deal with. And what does that look like? Because you would think, okay, Biden was not a good president. I don't think anyone in the country is thinking Biden did a great job.
I think there are pretty solid evidence and experts that say he was the worst president ever.
Even the people that supported Biden, they weren't really supporting Biden. They were just anti-Trump. Fine, I get that. But I don't think there are a lot of people out there going, damn, I'm so glad Biden did a good job. It just it doesn't exist, right? No one's going to vouch for him and tie their name to him at this point.
I don't think there's anyone that could say that their lives got better during that tenure.
So, okay, then Trump is a better president than Biden. Because Biden's the worst.
Well,
so by comparison, he's better.
Well, when the bottom is so low, right? The expectations are so low. I guess you can be a little bit better than the worst president ever. Yes, not wrong.
So, if you have a better president, by comparison, but we're not seeing any improvement, then it's not the president; it's the system.
We could talk about the system, but We already know who controls the system.
So if we have a broken system, then it's not about leadership. It's about possibly redoing the system. And I don't want to say like burn the whole thing down.
No, that's not a good idea.
But what other solution is there? How do you fix a broken system if patch fixing the system is not working?
No.
Then you have to replace the system.
Yes.
But how do you replace a system this large?
I can tell you what's naturally going to happen. What's naturally going to happen is all of the boomers are going to die in the next 20 years. And so if we live that long, in the next 20 years, we will see a natural replacement of the guards to the younger generation. The unfortunate part, we're probably going to end up with a lot of AOCs, which is even a scarier proposition because not only are they naive, but they're actively stupid. They actively work against our best intentions. Whereas at least the boomers kind of hid that. They're like, yeah, there's weapons of mass destruction. We should go over there and get them all. It's like, okay, we don't really know anything about Iraq or Afghanistan, so sure.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't say that against Israel, Palestine, or Ukraine, Russia. People know too much now. You can't play ignorant. You can't be like an AOC like, oh, we're going to go. No, we know too much. We know too much. We didn't know jack shit in the early 2000s about Iraq or Afghanistan. So we're just like, yeah, towers fell down and they were, yeah, okay, go get them. Right? But now people are the wiser. And when you have the younger generation that's going to replace these boomers who are going to die out, who are actively involved in our own destruction, I almost wonder if it's going to be worse. Does that bother you?
I mean, we are replacing. I'm not ready to move on yet. We're replacing a lot of humans with integration into technology and AI.
Yes.
And that integration will just get larger and larger and larger. And this is scary because, I'm very much against using AI to replace people. I think that AI should be used to amplify people.
Fair enough.
So if you're using AI to do your job instead of you, then you're going to fall behind. If you are one person and you use AI to make your output 10x, then you're going to win. This is the dichotomy of the world that we are in now.
Yes.
People who, there's three parts. The people that don't use AI, which you're going to fall behind.
Yes.
Like you're forget about it. If you're not using AI at this point, we've talked about AI before, and some people don't like the fact that we kind of are pro AI. I don't know if I'm pro AI, but it's just a reality of the world we live in. If you're not using AI, you're 100% going to fall behind.
Oh, for sure.
It's like saying I don't know how to use the internet.
Yeah. Or I can't stand these digital phones. I still want my analog phone.
Yeah.
No, sir. No,
There's
sir.
nothing you do about that.
No,
This
sir.
is where we are. Okay. If you are using AI to replace your work, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to do anything. And then AI is going to do the work for me. You're going to fall behind.
Oh, yeah.
Because the best, most qualified people are using AI to amplify the work.
Yes. Not wrong.
The problem with the government and how they work is that they're going to try to figure out solutions to get AI to replace their work.
Yes. Because they're dumb. Yes.
Meaning that they are not going to use it properly. And there are going to be a lot of flaws. There's going to be a lot of holes. There's going to be a lot of gaps. It's just not a way to run a government. Meaning that the gap between the technologists and the technocrats that are currently basically running our government and society, they're going to go so far ahead of where the government is that it's going to become a larger problem than it is today.
So what you're propositioning to me is it's not an issue of the boomers dying out and the younger radicals like AOC that are going to take over, but rather those radicals who are going to be replacing the boomers, they're almost insignificant compared to the AI and the technocrats who are going to be essentially running everything anyway, is what you're saying.
Correct.
That's even a scarier proposition.
Yeah, because right now, somehow we've gone into a world where the technocrats have usurped the government.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It used to be the other way around.
For sure.
But
For
now
sure.
now the power struggle is clearly different.
Oh, and it's obvious. It's obvious.
Very obvious.
Everyone knows about Palantir. Everybody knows about big data. Everybody knows about Facebook, right? Everybody knows about all this.
They are bigger, they are stronger, they have access to more people, and they have more money.
Yes.
Okay. And the government can't function without those technocrats.
Unfortunately.
If those technocrats take even a bigger leap because people think that, oh yeah, they're gonna get rid of all these coders, they're gonna get rid of all these programmers, and they're gonna, slim down by 80%. Like, no. Actually, if your profit margin and your productivity goes up and your ROI goes up, You actually invest more into it.
Yes.
Meaning that they're not going to cut their staff. They're going to increase their staff to
yeah.
get even further ahead of you.
Yeah, because it's economically efficient.
Exactly. People think that, oh, no, they're going to make so much money that they're going to figure out a way to make less money. No.
Never happens, Sar.
Never.
Never happens.
They're going to do more work, and they're going to widen the gap even further.
And with AI, it will be accelerated at an exponential curve, not a linear one.
And they're telling you, oh, no, they're going to cut, they're going to call those people, they're going to cut all these roles, and they're telling you that so that you stay stagnant, waiting for someone to come help you and save you. But the reality is that it's never going to come. We've learned throughout history over and over again that when you need the big brother's help, they don't fucking show up. You have to protect yourself.
It sounds like you have to be active in your own salvation, Matt. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, is that a crazy idea?
It sounds like almost like a Jordan Peterson-esque type of idea of go clean your room and be personally responsible.
Oh, Jordan Peterson. Did you watch? I watched the clips.
Of him getting fried by a 15-year-old?
What
Dude,
is he doing?
He's Icarus. He flew too close to the sun and his wings melted off, man. That was his problem.
Is Jordan Peterson a Christian?
No.
Clearly.
No. Ask me if I'm a Christian.
Are you a Christian?
Yes. Are you a Christian?
Yes.
Oh, well, that was hard.
Why can't he answer that question? And we've talked about him not answering the question before and being deflective of that. But in that opportunity, in that moment, because even the kids are like, hey, we thought this was 25 atheists against a Christian.
Yep.
That's why we're here. Check the YouTube title.
Yeah, exactly.
He couldn't answer that? His solution was, I'm done arguing with this guy. What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, his credibility tanked.
I can't take anything that guy says seriously.
What
I used to like him. You did too.
I did. I have his T-shirt, the lobster T-shirt. Someone sent me the lobster T-shirt because I said something nice about him. They're like, "Oh, here's a lobster T-shirt." I don't buy lobster T-shirts, but I actually have his, and I'll wear it someday. I've worn it before, but it's the lobster T-shirt from Jordan Peterson. Anyway, the point is that I guess I don't hate to say it, but he is a grifter. Period. Full stop. He's a grifter. He was on the avant-garde of free speech almost a decade ago of saying, I'm not going to be compelled to say they, them, vis, vers, whatever, all the trans stuff. I'm not going to have compelled speech. Like, we were like,
good for you.
Good for you. Like, put your stake in the mud, put your livelihood on the line, and go hard and say that you're not going to allow the government to compel you to say stuff. Awesome. The problem is that he got so much notoriety from that, Matt, that he started to have the same problem that many celebrities have, which is they get so much notoriety, now they're being asked into these new in industries. They're asked about things in markets that they don't fully understand. They're asked questions because of the notoriety, but they don't have actual skill set or capabilities or knowledge or know-how about it. And Jordan Peterson was the prototypical example of the Icarus. He flew too close to the sun. He got too much notoriety. His ego got too big, and he grifted the Christian messaging and narrative so hard, and we realized he was never a Christian at all. Sadness at the end of the day.
I mean, there are a lot of disappointed people in him.
Oh yeah. When I saw the clips, I was like, yeah, I'm done with you. Like not that I was listening hardcore to him anyway, because he kind of started diluting his message a couple years ago. But man, this was like the final nail in the coffin. He's done.
It was unwatchable.
He's done so.
It was unwatchable.
Not only the fact that his daughter was knocked up by one of your friends, Andrew Tate. I mean, like, she's a great example of a good example of a human being.
I don't know what happened to him. It just he was just one guy, and I don't know. It's like this whole thing of people, when they get famous and they get too famous and then they actually only care about fame, and they lose their purpose, they lose their messaging, and they just start saying things that they think get clicks and views, and all of a sudden, like, they don't actually believe what they say anymore. And then you come to Jesus moment where you're pushed and you're challenged, and he froze.
He froze. No, he
froze.
He didn't freeze. He said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
He said the thing that he didn't want us to know, is that he never actually believed in any of this stuff. He was just grifting on the Christian narrative so he could sell his book. Right? I mean, when I saw the Jordan Peterson, cliff dive off of notoriety, one of the first things I thought of was, he's just like The Rock. Like, can you accept anything that The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, ever says? about politics, about anything. He's a Neanderthal. He knows nothing about nothing, right? He was a WWE wrestler who went into movies, and now we're getting political advice from him. Come on, Jordan Peterson's the same. He knows nothing about nothing. He needs to go away. He's not helping anymore.
Can we circle back to Elon real quick? I noticed that Elon had a black eye.
What does that mean, Matt, when you get
And
a
they
black
asked
eye?
him what it was, and he said, oh, Macron, whatever, France, whatever. And they're like, actually, my son, my 5-year-old son, I told him to punch me in the face, and he punched me, and he gave me a black eye. I'm like, wait a second.
He told his son to punch him in the face?
If I told my kid to punch me, what are the chances that the kid would punch me right in the eye? If I told my kid to punch me in the face, what are the chances that he would punch me in the eye as hard as he possibly can?
To the point where he would break blood vessels, which is why bruises start.
Because if you're talking about a 5-year-old child, they would have to punch you as hard as they possibly can to even potentially make that happen.
But yeah, these children are mechanically retarded, though. There's no way he would be able to bring his fist back to the point where it does any damage.
Yeah, but
it's
if
just
he
not
did,
physically possible.
it would mean that he had to try as hard as possible. Given the benefit of the doubt that he's got amazing hand-eye coordination and he hit exactly what it did, it still would mean he would have to exert maximum force.
Yes.
I'm trying to think, like, would my kid ever maximum force hit me? The answer is probably not.
Never.
Right? Like,
Never.
there's no world in which that would happen. But
I have-
you have an older kid,
I have,
like,
I have a son.
Yeah.
I've done this. I've because sons will naturally challenge their fathers in physical moments of physical feats and physical prowess. And I could countless moments when my son was younger. And he would see something on TV or say something like, "Appa, can you take a hit like that?" Or "Appa, do you have a 6-pack?" And I'd say, "Well, no, because I'm chunky." And he's like, "Oh, if I punched you," it's like, "Well, then do it."
Yeah.
And he, you could see it. I can remember. I could see it as clear as day in my head. My son's eyes would be like,
Can I do that?
Can I do that? I'm like, no, you do it. And I start flexing, and I'm like, do it. He's like, Appa, I don't want to hurt you, because he's young and he's gentle spirit. He's like, Appa, I don't want to hurt you. No, do it. And he does it, and it's
Of course.
It's not even close to being strong. He doesn't want to hurt his dad.
Of course
he doesn't
not.
understand what it means, and so he's just seeing something. And he's going through this boyhood thing, and I've had him punch me in the arm, see if he could bruise me, punch me in the chest. Like, I've had multiple times where my son has challenged the physical prowess of his dad, and he's never like
As hard as he possibly could.
never.
Never.
It never happens.
Okay.
So first off, it's a terrible lie. Elon, try harder.
Well,
that's a badass. That's a terrible
Okay.
lie.
If we both agree that that's probably not the real story,
Yes.
what does that say about a person to blame your kid
Ooh.
in front of national media?
Ooh, that's thinking. I never thought about that.
Right?
Wow. You're going to use your kid as a scapegoat, bro?
How do you blame your kid for that?
How low are you going to go, Elon? That's pretty
Like-
low if you think about it.
You could say, oh, I fell.
That's what most of the Black Eye Club does.
I got drunk and I fell on a table.
Yeah.
To blame your kid?
Have
Who
you-
blames their kid for something like that?
Have you ever gotten Black Eye?
I can't remember the last time, if ever.
I've never gotten Black Eye.
Maybe when I was young and maybe high school age, something like this. I might have had
Hey,
a
Will,
black
you ever
eye.
get a Black Eye before?
I've been in a couple
No.
of fights when I was younger.
I don't think so.
I've gotten a lot of fights when I was younger, but I
Yeah.
never got a Black Eye. I ate dirt.
I mean, how often is it to actually see someone walk around with a black eye? When's the last time you actually saw a person with a black eye?
No, the answer is like never, because black eyes are usually indicative of a fight, like a physical fight.
And if you're the richest man in the world and you have a black eye, like, you put some makeup on it, right? You cover it up.
I never thought of that. Why would you go around showing the world?
Why would he go show the world that my son hit me in the face?
Matt always has a different perspective. I love it. I love it. You're right. If you and
Put
I
yourself in that situation. What would you have done?
I would have asked my wife, hey, I got a meeting with an important person. Can you please?
I'm going to the White House, to the Oval Office, and we're doing a press conference in front of the entire world. Can we cover this thing up a little bit?
Oh, Matt, sounds like you're moving this conversation into the Black Eye Club.
what other reason is there to go to the White House on national TV where you know every single camera and every single person in the world will see your face, and you say, do you know what? I'm going to let it shine. What? How is that actually even in your decision matrix?
Well, sounds like
They get makeup just to go on like interviews.
Oh yeah.
This is not abnormal for them to cover up imperfections in their fucking skin.
Oh yeah. I've been on national television before, and I had to sit there in the chair where they patted me down to make sure I wasn't going to sweat.
Exactly.
Make sure I didn't have shiny, forehead. Like, and I'm nobody important. This was years ago. Like, trust me, they do that. So what you're telling me is, Matt, is that this was a humiliation ritual.
I mean, why else? I can't think of any logical reason why that man in that position of power and wealth would go out to the whole entire world with a black eye. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I can't think of any rational reason why anyone in that position would ever do that.
Yeah, I can't.
Maybe someone has a theory or a fringe idea on what other than the fact that he intentionally wanted to show you
I can tell
that
you
he would go out like that.
I can tell you from personal experience, a decade plus ago, I don't get acne, but I had this major zit one time on my face. And I remember asking my wife, I was like, do you have any like of that mascara? I used the wrong term. Do you have any of that like whatever to cover this up? Because it's just like red and it looks angry. And I remember her putting it on and making it so it went away. Like, because I did not want to go to, have conversations with professionals with this angry zit on my face. So like, even for a nobody like me, I would want to cover it up, right? To be professional. You don't walk onto The View or any of these major TVs without makeup. It doesn't happen.
When we first started podcasting, I was wrestling with my big dog, and I got a scratch on my face.
I think I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I
remember.
remember
And so my
that.
wife put like some cover up because she knew we were going to record. We had just started our podcast. So she put the cover up on the scratch because it was so red.
That's what a loving wife does.
You're going to be on camera. I don't want this red stripe right down my face. It looks like I've just been in war or I've been in just a bar fight.
Someone's going to say, well, Elon has 9 wives, so none of them love him. That's why they didn't put makeup on him.
But there are professionals in place to make sure that he presents himself in a certain way.
No doubt. Let's use that exact what you just said. There are professionals in place to make sure that he looks the way that they want him to look. So what you're saying is they wanted him to show the black eye.
I can't think of any other explanation.
Let me ask you this. Do you know what the Black Eye Club is all about?
I have an inkling. I have an idea.
Tell me what you think.
Well, why don't you
I don't know. I don't know much about the Black Eye
Club.
Well, I spent some time down the rabbit hole.
I know you did.
And apparently the Black Eye Club is when you essentially get body snatched. And you are replaced with this alien thing that they put into your eye, just like the Matrix.
Huh?
Remember when...
I did not know we were going here.
Well, that's the rabbit hole I went down.
Okay. We're going deep.
Maybe it was on a subreddit. I don't know. But
4chan subreddit.
4chan, something like that, which we know who controls that anyway. It's controlled opposition. So apparently you put this like wormy thing in your eye, and this thing steals your soul.
Huh.
And so then you are essentially cloned. And so the Black Eye Club means that you are now controlled by some satanic alien that now is taking over your body, so you're completely sold out to Satan, or totally sold out to the evil powers that be. So that is what the rabbit hole that I went down. What do you know about the Black Eye Club? I know there's plenty of people out there that are like, Peter, you don't know anything. You're right. I know nothing. I know nothing. I went down a rabbit thread.
I thought it was much more simple than that.
What is it?
I thought that there are powers that be that if someone were to get out of line, they're just letting you know to get back in line.
Oh, is that right? That would be the simpler answer.
Which is why we see instances of people with political power with black eyes so often.
You just have
because the frequency of people in political power with black eyes is way higher.
Way higher.
Infinitely higher.
Infinitely higher.
Than people I've known in my life with black eyes.
Yeah, it's almost in the ratio of how How many people do you know around you who have deleted themselves? Let's give me a number. How many people? How many within the 40 plus years?
Handful.
Okay. So, would it be a statistical anomaly that if you were to hang out with the Clintons, that they would that they would have such a high percentage of people who've deleted themselves around them? Probably not. And so my point is that the percentage of high-powered individuals who all go on TV, which I think we just debunked, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't go on TV with the black eye.
No.
You put makeup on it. Period. Full stop.
There's a makeup artist that comes in and goes, let me cover that before you go out.
Yeah, like out of respect.
And they're like, no, I'm going to show them my shine.
Show them my shine.
Right? That's the only way that happens. It's like, no person that your job is to cover up my face and imperfection.
And all the blemishes, yeah.
That's your job, miss. Please step aside. I don't want your free service because I'm not charged for it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want your free service to make me look better on TV. I would like you to ignore me because I prefer to go onto the internet and into the world and into the news with my shine.
Yes. So I think you and I are probably both wrong, and there's a ton of internet sleuths out there who are going to tell us on soju, soj.oo, who are going to tell us what the real Black Eye Club is, and any cursory search online will, if you type in the Black Eye Club and you look on images, you're going to find an entire infographic of all of these major politicians and people in power who all are part of the Black Eye Club.
And actors and actresses and political influencers.
If I were to put money on this, I would say you're probably closer to the truth, where it's a visual indicator to the public, get back in line. Get back in line. Like, this is going to happen. I feel that. I feel like I really like the whole idea of the body snatchers and them putting some like worm in your eye and taking your soul. I think that's a grand story, and I'd love to believe that's true.
I like your story better. I feel my story is more believable, but I enjoy yours more.
Well, there has been sufficient evidence down this rabbit holes that I've gone in the past where they have these rituals where they put you on this slab and then they, chain you up and they put like weird objects in your body, kind of like Glenn Greenwald. Ooh, did you hear about that?
I heard he got hacked and his videos of very intimate moments.
Do you want to talk about that?
No, because it's Pride Month, but apparently no one's doing Pride Month, so we don't have to talk about it.
That's true. It's no longer economically efficient or economically viable.
Talk about that real quick. Apparently, Pride Month has been canceled this year. Is that a thing? Did you cancel that?
So the internet trolls are saying. However, we still have the NFL saying that. Did you see the NFL's? Oh my gosh. Or maybe it was the New York Mets or something. Some sports team or some sports organization had a commercial that said, "We're all trans.
Huh?
We're all gay. We're all like," it's like, whoa. You really, someone gave you the Black Eye Club, told you to do this. But yeah, I think there's a lot of major players, major corporations that seem like they're kind of shying away from this Pride Month thing. Why do you think that is, Matt?
Well, corporations that had in the past been very vocal on Pride Month, they are pulling back their Pride Month advertising and marketing campaigns.
Is it because it's not an economic decision, or is it a mindfulness thing? They've turned the other cheek or turned the other corner.
So, okay, there are a couple of possibilities. One possibility is that the economy is actually not that strong, and being Pride Month marketing doesn't have a high return on investment, so they decide to cut that expense because really everyone's in cost-cutting mode.
Fair enough.
It could be that simple.
It could be that simple.
Or it's the culture and society who has pushed for it is retracting. It's no longer as popular, meaning that they're not getting the brand benefit that they once were. Or the people that are in charge of that initiative are slowly being removed, in which case it's no longer a priority. I don't know. Which one do you think it is?
At the end of the day, I think economics wins the day.
I think so too.
I think right, the accountants and the number crunchers in the back offices are saying, I don't think this is economically viable for us to be doing this. And so as much as I like them gays, we just shouldn't do it this year. Right? It's not paying off from a unit economic perspective. So I really, at the end of the day, I think if we were to be truly callous, it would be simply it's not economically efficient for them to focus on.
Yeah, they
this.
probably had a list of all the different marketing campaigns for the year. And they said, okay, where are we getting our ROI? Which one is giving us the most benefit?
Yep.
Which one is considered nice to have, but not necessary? All right, let's stick to the necessary ones. We got to do the campaigns around the major holidays. We have to do maybe even Black History Month. Maybe we have to do Thanksgiving. We have to do Memorial Day. We can't miss these.
Yeah.
But we actually do need to reduce our cost a little bit.
Yeah.
And they went very analytical. And they said, you know what? This Pride Month one, like
It's not paying off.
We can cut this.
Yeah.
And people aren't really going to notice.
Do you feel like, now let me ask you this though, do you feel like the Overton window has shifted a little bit more to the conservative side though? Because we're seeing we've used this term in the past, like the red wave, like Donald Trump and the red wave and the economics of being conservative, right? And we've certainly seen that there is a lot of money to be made to be moving over to the right or the conservative side, right? And so I wonder if that's part of it, where the Overton window is shifting a little bit more to the right and people are saying, you know what, we're kind of over this whole gay thing. We're over this whole pride thing. Like, it's not only economically inefficient for us to spend money on this thing, but number two, like, the world is seeing it a little bit different, right? The thanks to the trans, the trans just took it way too far, right? And so do you feel like they're kind of backpedaling a little bit?
I think that, especially this country, this idea of meritocracy is starting to actually become a thing. So
Are you saying meritocracy is becoming a thing? Like, people
actually care about competence and how companies perform rather than their messaging. And what they're finding out is that this political cancellation actually isn't very effective. Actually, before we started, we talked about Target.
Yeah.
The whole right wanted to cancel Target because of their tuck-free or tuck whatever clothing and bathing suits for kids that they did. And the right was livid.
Yeah. Well, they also
I
have
live in a super conservative area. Probably like 80% of my town is conservative and Republican. That Target is banging. Nobody cares.
At the end of the day, if it's the closest place to get your clothes and food,
They're close. They're in a good location. They provide a good service. The people that work there are good at their job. They're always clean. They're priced really well. Like, people still go there. This boycott of Target, it didn't stick at all.
and neither did the Bud Light thing either.
The Bud Light thing didn't stick.
Yeah, I see people drinking it at the racetracks. Like racetracks are red as red can be, and now they're all back to drinking Bud Light like it wasn't a thing.
And these corporations that were pandering to these super left cultural movements like Pride Month, they're finding out, well, do you know what? Let them cancel us for not doing Pride Month. I bet you it doesn't affect our business. And they're right.
You got it.
Which is actually, I'm really grateful for that. Because we were in this weird day and age of corporations and businesses pandering to political and social belief and tying it to their business, when in reality, if you're a corporation and you're a target, I just want to know that you give me a good product at a good price and you're available and you're open when you say you're open. That's what I want from you.
Are you saying you didn't want to know Target's political views?
No care whatsoever.
Okay. Oh.
And I think the whole country, even though they say we care, actually you didn't, because you didn't cancel anybody. Everyone survived the cancellation.
No lies detected.
And I think the left is figuring it out too. We don't have to play this game any longer. So if anything, I don't know if that's a Trump
Kind
thing.
of a win then.
I don't know if that's a MAGA thing. I don't know if that's a conservative thing. I don't know what that is. What I do know is that is a positive shift for this country.
You know what? I actually agree with you. I think it's a very positive shift that companies will get out of the game of showing their politics. We don't care about your politics. We don't care. We just want to have cheap prices on good products.
Yes.
That's it. Not cheap products, just cheap prices on good products, a good service. That's it. You got it.
And
you got
what
it.
we're also finding out is that Americans actually don't care where that product is made.
if we truly cared, then none of us would buy Nikes because we all know that Nikes use slave labor in third world countries and children to make their shoes. Like
because it's like, oh, cancel China, no more made in China because we're gonna make it in America, and the country has basically said, actually, we don't care anymore.
Don't care.
They're good at what they do. Get rid of the tariffs. Let's buy it for cheap. Because the reality is we can't find someone here that wants to make it.
You got it.
Let's stick to core competencies. If they're good at manufacturing, let them manufacture. Let's just get along. We don't want to politically posture any longer.
So, to close the loop on Elon, for all you SARs out there who are checking in, make sure you smash the like button. You have to do that. You got to check in SAR. You see my comment, right?
Yeah. Check in.
I'm always the guy to check in SAR on the comments. Make sure you check in. But I'd also, to close the loop, let us know. Tell us, what are your opinions on the Black Eye Club? Like, what is it really? Is it an alien, body snatcher, or is it just, let's just say, the overlord saying, Elon, you're going a little too far. We need to show the world that you're back in line. Let us know on the comments. Let us know, SARS.
Or the overlord is a body snatcher. They haven't snatched him yet, but they're saying we're about to, which is why the black guy was small and not big.
Yeah, usually it's like
it's a big
super
one.
big. Yeah,
maybe it was just a warning shot.
Ooh, but let's be honest, though, that was the worst. That was the worst lie ever.
Yeah, my kid punched me in the face. Like, seriously?
Get the fuck out of
Your
here.
5-year-old kid punched you in the face? That's what you got?
Get the fuck out of here. No way. No way. I think it's closer to what you say. It's a hey. You're going too far with this stuff. You need to pull it back a little bit, Elon. We got to get you back under control. We got to wrangle you back.
Oh, one last thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
Palantir. We almost missed it. I want to talk about that today. Palantir.
Did you see my tweet about it?
I haven't seen it. I haven't been on the internet.
My entire tweet was simply everyone's hyperventilating about Palantir and all of this, him creating this master database on all of us. If they're talking about it, Matt, it means they already had it.
So we talked about Palantir, I think, the
Many
very
times.
first podcast after the election.
We've talked about it several times, yeah.
And we got a lot of shit for it, too. I can't believe you don't like Palantir. They're like Americans.
Peter Thiel is my man.
But we also said then that they are not a data collection company, that they are a dashboard company. They take the data in which you already have and they help you visualize it in a way so that it makes sense. They help you organize your data, not collect the data.
Yeah, they're essentially an aggregator.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when the New York Times says, oh, they're collecting all your data, that's not true. That's not their job.
They're not collecting it. All the other institutions and entities are collecting your data.
All the agencies are collecting your data.
Yes, we know this. Right.
They're just making it easier for them to understand your data.
Yes, and amalgamate it all together.
So do I love what Palantir is doing? No.
No.
Do I think they are the evil root of collecting your data and being evil in this world? No.
No.
I think that they create a service. I think they did it very well. I think they happened to get a lot of government contracts because they did that well. Again, I don't love that they're helping the government organize data because right now they're in just random files and they don't know how to do it. So they're collecting all this data on all these Americans. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to organize it. Palantir came around and said, hey, you know how you've collected all this data on all these Americans? Well, we can help you parse through it much easier.
Yes.
That's what they did.
And we'll give you some great business intelligence on what people are doing.
Correct.
Right, that's what it is.
I don't think the government should be collecting data on us. I think that's infringement of our privacy and our rights, actually. But that's not Palantir that created that. And I don't want to sound like a Palantir shield because we've been very critical on Palantir.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, we have to be honest about what they're doing. Otherwise, you can't solve problems if you don't even know what they're doing.
I was about to say, some of the internet people out there might be saying, Whoa, Matt, you got Palantir in your back pocket here because you sound pretty positive about it. This is a nice spin you got here going. Yeah, so no, Palantir offers a service. They're a service layer. They're the candy wrapper on all of this data that these organizations and government entities are already collecting on you, which, by the way, all of your data, Google already owns it. Facebook already owns it. The NSA already owns it. The three-letter agencies already own it. This has been proven. You can go through the documentation. They're all collecting. All your cell phone stuff is being sent directly to the big black tower in New York, wherever it is, and over in Dallas. We already know this. Palantir is just the service layer that says, hey, we have all this fractured data all over the place. let us give it to you on a silver platter so you can understand it. Now, some
Nice
people,
iPad app where you can scroll through. And that's what they did.
They're business intelligence, right? That's the way that I looked at it. Is their business intelligence? I remember using Business Objects. I don't know if you've ever heard of that company back in the day, but back in the early 2000s, a big company, Business Objects, came out, and what they were, their whole part, they were part of that SaaS movement, the SaaS, SaaS movement of saying, hey, you got all this fractured data in Excel database, Access databases. We're going to bring Business Objects in as a service layer on top of it so you can actually make intelligent decisions on all of that data. That's what Palantir is. Palantir is a service layer that says, hey, you got all this fractured data. We're going to give it to you in ways that you can understand it. Now, some people would go as far as to say that's actually dangerous. It's better that they're fractured. It's better that they can't go through search.
Of course.
It's better that they can't figure out and make all these connections. But that was my answer to that is it was going to happen anyway.
If I am a technologist and I identify a problem that there's scattered data and I can figure out a business to put that data in a readable form, that's a real business.
And you're going to make a shit ton of money.
Exactly what they do.
Exactly.
I don't love what they're doing but the root problem that we're facing is not the organization of data, it's the actual collection of data. So if you don't like what these databases on Americans that are being created, I'm not saying don't be mad at Palantir because they are a part of the system, but they're not the root cause of it. It's the fact that they're collecting data anyway.
Yes.
That's a problem that needs to be solved.
Can I counter?
Yes.
How many of the fine prints when you downloaded or updated your iPhone, your MacBook, or whatever, how much of that fine print do you actually read? The short answer is 0. If you actually read that stuff, and there have been sleuths who've gone through it, in the fine print that you just clicked accept anyway, just to get through it, and you had to scroll to the bottom to get to it, if you actually read it, it would say, we are actively collecting your data. Like you agreed to the terms of service.
We are actively ourselves complicit in our own data collection.
And so I find it a hard argument to blame these entities when the reality is you accepted those terms, you accepted the service, and you gave them your data freely so that they could sell it to third parties, right? So I find it to be a weak argument at the base of the base, like root. Like who is the bad actor here? Is it the companies who give you a service and in trade you are willing to give them all your data? Are they the bad guys? Or are we the ones who have to be personally responsible and say, you know what? Maybe I don't want to give Google or Facebook or all these large entities my data. What's the real root cause here?
It's every man for himself. You have to be responsible for your own data, your own information, your own family, your own livelihood. The reality is that no one's out there to help you. You have to be careful and take care of yourself.
It sounds like freedom tools need to be made.
Working on it.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.